So we can see the sub bass below 75 hertz is rolled off on a speech microphone. Okay. We can see the mid-range is completely flat and transparent, which is very important. And then once we get into the presence and the treble, it's very bright, clear, and articulate. So bright, neutral, and then it rolls off the sub bass. Okay. So this is how you finally tune a spoken word microphone. You roll off the low end rumble, the sub bass. You keep the mids completely transparent. And you boost the treble to make it more bright, clear, articulate, sibilant, sparkly, magical. Okay. So that's what you do to a spoken word microphone to get the optimum results. Alright. The best microphone I've ever found to match that target is the Neumann TL103 microphone. We can see the frequency response here for the Neumann TL103 microphone is the closest match to the target. It's the closest match to the target. Do you see that? Do you see how close the target matches to the microphone frequency response? Okay. Okay. Now, for a singing vocal microphone, the frequency response looks a little bit like this. Okay. So, some characteristics we can see on this thing is it rolls off the low frequencies below like 300 hertz. Okay. And this kind of thins out vocals so that it focuses on the higher frequencies. Okay. Now you'll notice this lump right here around 3.5 kilohertz. This is where vocals are. This is where you shout. When you're like, ah la 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 la. When you're projecting your throat and your oral cavity. This is called the vocal presence around 3.4 kilohertz, which is why it is boosted here. We can see it scoops down in the consonants region a little bit. Okay. And then it goes back up in the vocal sparkle. This adds some shimmer, some musicality to your voice. The closest microphone that I know that follows this is the Neumann M147 tube microphone. And we can see the frequency response here for that. Is this the world's best vocal singing microphone? Honestly, I think the original Neumann U47 is a little bit closer to this. But the M147 tube, we can see, is tuned appropriately, okay, to match this target. Okay, okay, okay. So now, we have, oh shit, okay, hold on. We have the headphone target. Okay, so this is for headphones. So for headphones, the closest I found was the Biodynamic DT990. So, DT990 diffuse field curve. Okay. So this is the Biodynamic DT990s measured on diffuse field target. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay. Okay. So we can see these spikes in the high frequencies. This is actually kind of bad. This makes it harsh and shrill and fatiguing in the high frequencies. So, to optimize this target, we would want to extend the sub bass and smooth out the high frequencies, kind of like that, okay? and that would match this target here. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. Okay, so if we look, we want a 10 decibel bass boost. Okay, so we want a warm, boomy bass boost. A warm, boomy bass boost of 10 decibels. This adds impact. This adds rumble. Okay, this adds impact and rumble to the sound. Once we get into the high frequencies, we see a scoop at 3 kilohertz. This adds width and soundstage. Gives you a wide soundstage because it scoops out the presence and makes things sound farther away. Okay, and then it goes back up in the treble. So this is bright, sibilant, sparkly, musical. So the end result, if we look at this, is a warm, boomy sound with a wide soundstage that is bright and sibilant and clear. Okay, so that is how you tune a headphone. Now if we look at the DT990s, we can see they're a little bit harsh in the high frequencies, and they roll off the sub bass. So there's not that much sub bass. It kind of rolls off like that, which is not necessarily good. But it's an open back headphone, so it can't trap in low end rumble very well like a closed back headphone. Okay. So now the good thing about the DT990s is if we look at them with fresh ear pads and worn ear pads, the treble smooths out a lot. So this is fresh ear pads. Okay. Now this is diffuse field. Okay. So this is on the Harman Target, which is different than diffuse field, but that's besides the point. We can see that on the Harman Target with fresh ear pads, it's way too harsh in the high frequencies. So we got these treble shards, these spikes. But if you get worn ear pads, like you use them for a little bit, those treble spikes smooth out quite a bit. Okay. So you go from very sharp and piercing in the treble to a lot smoother in the treble. Okay. So do you see that? It gets smoother over time. So if we trace over this, oh my god, if we trace over this, we can see it's pretty screwed up. Up here it's very harsh and metallic and whatever. Okay. But if we trace over it with worn ear pads, we can see it's a lot smoother. Okay. So the more you use the headphones, the less harsh they get in the treble. Now we can compare these measurements to a bunch of other headphones on the market. Okay. Like for example, the let's compare it to I don't know, DT770s with worn ear pads. So this is DT770s with worn ear pads. Okay. I'm just kind of showing you these, what to look out for. And then DT990s with worn ear pads. Okay. So, yeah. This is DT770. These are like the closed back version of the 990s. Okay. 990s versus 770s. We can see it scoops down, goes back up, scoops down, goes back. This is bad. Okay, it's kind of wonky. Over here it's a lot smoother on the 990s. Okay. So this is wavy, discolored, wonky. That's bad. Okay. Smooth. That's good. We can see in this region right here, it cuts down a lot. Okay, that's bad. Over here, it cuts down a bit. It's a little bit wonky, but it's not as bad. So that's better. Okay. We can see these. We can see in the high frequencies. It kind of goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down like that. Over here, it's a bit smoother. Okay. So, smoother on the DT990s, harsher on the DT770s. Okay. So we have more tonality problems on the DT770s than the 990s. Now, let's say we compare the DT990s to some very expensive headphones as the 990s. Let's go back and look at some very expensive headphones by like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. Okay. Sennheiser HD 800S headphones. Ooh, they have diffuse field. Oh, that's neat. Okay, let's do Harman Target over ear. Okay. So, this is the HD 800S. 800S. This is a very expensive headphone versus some cheap DT990s. Okay. We can see the HD 800S are very warm. Very warm. We can see the 990s are a bit muddy. Okay. We can see they're both very bright in the high frequencies. Okay. If you look carefully, the DT990s have more emphasis to the low frequencies, while it's thinner on the HD 800S. So technically, this region is too warm and on the 800S, while this region is less warm, more accurate. So, yeah, closed back headphones tend to roll off the sub bass, which is what we see on both of these. They roll off the sub bass. But yeah, this is a lot warmer, and this one's a lot more natural, below 1K. You'll notice in the high frequencies that the 990s are actually smoother. We can just kind of trace over it compared to over here on the more expensive $1,500 headphones. We can basically see this huge 6 kilohertz peak, this huge 9 kilohertz cut, which is bad. Over here, there's really no, fatigue at 6K. It's a lot smoother here. So, again, if we look at this, huge peak, huge cut. Over here it's a lot smoother on the cheaper headphones. So the cheaper DT990s have better bass extension and emphasis, while the 800S are a lot warmer and muddier. They're a lot more fatiguing in the treble because of that huge 6K peak, and you lose a lot of information at 9 kilohertz, while the DT990s retain all of the high frequencies a bit better. Okay, I'm kind of teaching you things, you know. Let's go back to microphones. So this is the Neumann TL103 frequency response. Okay, and we can actually compare it to other microphones on the market, like the Audio-Technica AT4040, and we can see the AT4040 has this horrible 6 kilohertz peak. So that's the, oh god, hold on, oh god, okay. So the AT4040 has this huge 6K peak, this huge 9K cut, this huge, 11K peak, while it's a lot smoother on the purple line, which is the Neumann. Okay, so you look for peaks and cuts because honestly, peaks and cuts denote damaged frequencies, loss of detail, and bad sound quality, whereas smooth regions retain information and are a sign of good quality. Okay, so you can compare all sorts of microphones on here. I think the AT4040, we can see the huge peak and the huge cut. You can compare it to something like an SM57 cardioid microphone and see the similarities, how they both have like that 6K peak. They both roll off around, like if you use the switch, around 200 hertz to get rid of like low end, to thin it out. So this is how you can compare tonalities of audio equipment. Now again, there's a lot of stuff out there. For example, the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pros. We can compare these things to other headphones on the market, maybe like some Apple stuff, Apple AirPod Pro, AirPods 3rd generation. So we can kind of compare what's going on here. Maybe the 2nd generation we could look at. Okay. We'll look at the AirPods Pros. Okay. So let me do something different. Okay. Let's bring up AirPods Pro 2nd generation. Okay. So we're going to compare the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pros in-ear buds to Apple AirPod Pro 2nd generation. Okay, let me hang on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so when we compare these two earbuds, we can see the Buds Pros have better deep bass emphasis than the Apple AirPod Pros. Okay, so this one has more bass, the Samsung Buds Pros. See, it goes below the line
on the AirPod Pros, so it's rolling off these deep frequencies, while on the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pros, we can see it's above the line, so there's more emphasis, there's more low end, there's more rumble. If we look at the high frequencies, we can see they're brighter on the Buds Pros, which means more clarity, more articulation, more shimmer, more sparkle, bright and sparkly, V-shaped. V-shaped means bass and treble emphasis. So, yeah, a lot of treble clarity, a lot of deep bass emphasis. If we look over here on the high frequencies of the Buds Pros, they are below the line. So these are darker, less bright, which, yeah, it's not going to be as shimmery, it's not going to be as bright. So the main thing is more bass on the Buds Pros, more impact, more power, brighter on the Buds Pro, more clarity, more sparkle. So yeah, so this is kind of a, I use the Buds Pros because I like really bright, powerful bass, V-shaped, fun, sparkly, and the AirPod Pros by Apple are kind of more mid-range focused. They kind of focus more on these frequencies, okay, while the Buds Pros are more V-shaped and they focus more on these frequencies, okay. So you get more dynamics with the Buds Pros, you get more clarity, more impact, and the AirPod Pros sound more lifeless, less power in the bass, less power in the treble, more focus in the mids, so more boring, more mid-range focus. So it's, it's up to you what you want. But yeah, so I hope this teaches you some ways of like comparing equipment, and stuff like that. And you can look through all of this stuff. There's tons of stuff out there, and see, the quality depending on how smooth it is, what frequencies are being emphasized, stuff like that. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.